About to hear is a sad story. How a friendship in the office of a state senator was used to facilitate the sexual abuse of Austin Weiss, a page of the 2006 legislative session. The story actually starts years ago when Senator Sutton befriended a number of high school students in Flanders, South Dakota. He made his house available for those high school students to hang out in, provided candy, pop, movies. Those young people hung out there with him. This was before he was married, for a number of years, 2 to 3, 4 times a week. One of those people was a young man by the name of Kyle Weiss. Kyle is the older brother of Austin. He's about 5 years older. Kyle and Senator Sutton became very close friends, and Kyle was even in his wedding. Austin started going over to Senator Sutton's house with Kyle. After Kyle and his classmates graduated, Austin kept going over to the house and became very close friends with Senator Sutton. When he was a senior in the year of 05-06, Austin decided he'd like to be a page. He visited with the senator about that. The senator was supportive. Austin applied and was accepted with the support of Senator Sutton. As you know, pages are required to make their own living arrangements when they come out here. Austin talked to the senator and asked him what he should do for living arrangements. He had 2 friends that were going to be staying at the Jacobs Bed and Breakfast. He said, should I stay there, or what are your arrangements? And the senator said, I have a suite at the Holiday Inn Express. You're welcome to stay with me. Austin traveled to Pierre on February 4th of 2006. He came up here with his 2 friends. One is his cousin, Anna Weiss, and the other is a classmate, Chelsea Gassman. 3 of them came up and they went to the Jacobs Bed and Breakfast. All 3 of them were going to stay there that night. It was a Saturday. They went to church, came back, hung out. Next day, hung out at the bed and breakfast until it was time for the orientation for the interns. That was sometime on Sunday afternoon. After that orientation was finished, Senator Sutton picked up Austin from the orientation. They went from the orientation to a Super Bowl party at the Ramcota. From there, they went over to the Holiday Inn Express to Senator Sutton's room. When they got to the room, it was the first time that Austin realized that the suite was just a regular motel room with a king-size bed in it. It surprised Austin, but he didn't really think anything of it because he was such good friends with Senator Sutton and had been for a number of years. The king-size bed was plenty big, and so he really didn't think too much of it. They went down to work out after that at the Holiday Inn Express, came back upstairs. They watched the Super Bowl. Both of them cleaned up after working out. Austin laid down on the bed, and as you looked at the bed, he laid down on the far left side. He was doing a little reading of the book he got at orientation. Senator Sutton got in the same bed. He laid down on the far right side. After the Super Bowl was over and the aftermath of that, Senator Sutton brought along some videotapes of soap operas that he likes to watch, and he started watching those. Austin rolled over and went to sleep. Sometime he woke up during the night. He felt the covers being pulled over top of him. Senator Sutton was covering him up. When he placed the covers down on Austin, he left his hand on Austin's back. Austin noticed it, didn't think too much of it, fell back to sleep. Later that night he woke again. Senator Sutton was no longer on the other side of the bed. He was right next to Austin in the bed. Off and on for several hours, the senator would reach for him, would touch him on the back, touch him on the hip, Austin would move, roll over, the senator would take his hand away. In the morning, nothing was said between them. The senator acted normal. Austin didn't say anything. He was confused about what was going on, and he hadn't ever experienced anything like this before from Senator Sutton. They both went to the Capitol, spent the day there. After the work was done, they left. Together, they went down to the VFW. They ate. From there, they went to a chili feed. After the chili feed, they went back to the Holiday Inn Express again. Again, they went down to work out, but this time I believe just Senator Sutton went down to work out. Austin was tired. I think he'll tell you that he didn't have much sleep the night before. He stayed in the room and went to bed. It was early, about 8:30. This night, instead of just wearing his gym shorts to bed, he wore his gym shorts and then he pulled on a pair of thick cloth shorts over top of them. And then he put a t-shirt on. And instead of getting under the covers, he laid on top of the covers. He said that he fell asleep. He woke up somewhere a little before 11:30. The senator was in the room. He was in bed, and he was laying right next to him again. He was watching television, more soap operas. Austin laid there for a minute. It was shortly after that he felt the senator's hand rest on his stomach. His hand then went down his stomach to his penis, and he fondled it. At this time, Austin simply froze. He couldn't believe what was taking place. He rolled over and grabbed his cell phone and acted like he had missed a call. He took his cell phone and went into the bathroom, tried to figure out what he was going to do. What he decided to do was act like he was talking to a friend on the telephone and walked out of the room. He went downstairs to where the computer is at the Holiday Inn Express. He sat down there and made several telephone calls. He tried 7 times within a half hour to get a hold of people to talk to. 5 times he tried to call his brother Kyle because Kyle was such good friends with Senator Sutton. Of course, by now it's around midnight or after. Kyle didn't answer. He tried to call Kyle's girlfriend to see if she could get a hold of him, no answer, and he tried to call a friend. He also was on the computer, and the computer records, we pulled the hard drive, and they show that he was on the computer between approximately midnight and 12:30. He went back to the room, didn't know what he should do. He got back into bed, but he got between the covers this time. Later on that night, he woke again. He had dozed off, and Senator Sutton was touching him again on the back and on the hip area. For the rest of the night, he basically was awake, moving. Every time the senator touched him, he would move, and the senator would take his hand away. Again in the morning, he didn't know what to say, didn't say anything. The senator acted normal. They went back to the Capitol building. He didn't tell anybody all day, kept trying to get a hold of his brother Kyle. That evening, after work here at the Capitol, they went to La Ministra to eat. He and the senator, and they ate with someone else. After that, a bunch of pages had made arrangements to get together and go to a movie, so he went with them. There were about 15 of them. After the movie, he went to, I think it was a legislative basketball game that was scheduled for that night. After the basketball game...
You have 1 minute.
Thank you. He got a ride back to the hotel. He couldn't make himself go back into that room. He went down to the pool area without going through all the calls he made. He eventually got a hold of his brother, Owen, told his brother Owen what had happened. Owen told him, you have to get out of that room, do not go back there. Call Anna. Anna Weiss, he called Anna, got a hold of her. She got out of bed. She came and got him. Somewhere around midnight that night, took him back to the Jacobs, where he told Anna and Chelsea what had happened. He later called a person by the name of Grady Olson, who was a friend of Kyle's and hung around at Dan Sutton's. He wanted to talk to somebody who had been in that group hanging around, and he told Grady what had happened. More to the story, you'll hear it later, I guess.